Hey YouTube, I'm Jacob Beach with the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. I've been missing for a little while. There's two reasons. The first is that I've been sick, and the second is that guy right there. Today I'm going to talk to you about a couple things to consider when looking for your bug out vehicle. And this guy right here, Old Ugly, it's going to be a whole series. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's talk about bug out vehicles. If you're looking for a bug out vehicle, there's a lot of things that you need to consider. But before I talk to you about a bug out vehicle, I should probably talk to you about what bugging out means to me and why I would need to do it. Let's hit that first. So for me, bugging out means that I'm going to an undisclosed and as of yet undetermined location in a state of emergency. The emergency could be long-term, it could be short-term, could be on-road, could be off-road. I don't know what it could be, but for that reason, I need a vehicle that can go and do any of those things and to a certain degree get me anywhere where I need to go. So, step one, four-wheel drive is a must. The next thing that I want to consider is how long am I going to be out? If I'm going to be out for a very, very long time, there's two things that I want to consider. That is reliability and parts availability. If I have the most reliable vehicle on the planet, but something happens and I end up breaking it doing something stupid, if I can't find parts, I'm now completely up a creek, especially if I'm out by myself. And if the parts are very complicated, where I can't jerry-rig them together and fix them, it ain't gonna work. So basically, for me, that cuts off anything newer than about 2000, maybe 2005. To piggyback that, I want that reliability, and gasoline engines are very reliable, especially certain engines, but intrinsically are not as reliable as a diesel. So, I did look for a diesel. Also, another good reason for looking for something pre-2000 and many times older is electronics have an extreme tendency to fail, whereas a properly designed, engineered, and manufactured mechanical part typically does not. I want minimum electronics, not only because of the possibility of an EMP that would destroy the electronics of your vehicle and make most modern vehicles inoperable, but also because in situations with a lot of water, not much maintenance, just bad situations, electronics tend to fail. And finally, because I can't work on electronics. Especially if I'm bugging out, I'm probably not going to have a laptop out to be able to diagnose problems with my car, to tune it, to do whatever I have to do to fix it. So for me, it's got to be simple. If it's gasoline, it's got to be carbureted, and if it's diesel, it's got to be old. Now, if you're gonna go gas, there are benefits, especially if you go with a Chevy 350. You can find parts everywhere. Parts for gasoline engines are cheaper. They're not as strong, they're not as beefy, they don't have to be, they're easier to find, they're cheaper, they're smaller, all that stuff. But, like I said, and as you saw, I went with this 93 Dodge W250 with a 12-valve Cummins. This is a first generation Dodge Cummins. There are some benefits as well as detriments of it compared to newer Dodges, but I've got to tell you one thing specifically before I keep going here, and that is I hurt Old Ugly's feelings, because I called it a him. It's definitely a her, and she doesn't mind being called ugly because she knows that it's what's on the inside that counts. When I bought Old Ugly, I had to put new tires on it right away, and she needed front end work done right away. Tie rods, wheel bearing, steering control arm. Look how simple this all is. I mean, there's nothing to it. Let's get back up to the engine. I literally can sit in this engine bay and work on stuff, and it's all simple. Boom, turbo, fuel, intake, fuel pump. Down in there, there's a gas filter. I should say fuel filter, diesel filter. It's all easy stuff in here. As we look around, of course it's a manual. First off, I don't want to have anything to do with fixing an automatic. If you buy an automatic and you drive it in any kind of rough terrain for a long period of time, or you drive like I do, and it's going to break, and then it's going to be expensive. So it had to be a manual, and it's simple. Everything about this truck is simple, and it all works really, really well. In fact, this truck is downright fast and runs like a scalded dog because it's got the V pump turned all the way up. It's got some 90 horse injectors and some other things. This thing gets up and moves, blows all kinds of smoke, both from the exhaust and from the tires. I need to be easy on these things because they're expensive. But there you go, guys. That's my work in progress. I'll keep you guys up to date and follow along in this little project. I have new fenders. I have a new door. I'm going to get a new rocker panel and cab corner. Fix it up. Give it a nice MWrap TAM paint job. And you guys can follow along and see how my bug out vehicle holds up and if it gets me to my bug out location. Thanks for sticking around and watching. Hope to see you guys soon. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks.